Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So, last night we had the Hood Summit for 2025, and no, I was not invited, but I'm also not really a trader, and Robinhood is really focused on day trading. So, maybe next year I don't know how, like, what rates an invite from Robinhood, but I actually kind of would have preferred to be there as a stream anyways, just that's how it is. But I actually missed the first half an hour because I forgot about it and I was doing a phone screen interview with an AI, which I'm not sure I like this new thing with that. And before you ask, no, I don't actually want a new job, but I am collecting unemployment because I'm entitled to it and I have been paying into it, so I may as well eke out the last part of that before I go totally independent. But a part of unemployment is you have to do 4 job related activity, like getting activities every week. So I was filling out the resume and then my webcam came on and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do the final interview now." And I was like, it is 10 p.m. at night, but sure, why don't we do it literally right now?" So I did get there half an hour into it though, in time for them to announce multiple accounts. And to me, this is very interesting, and I really appreciate that because there are um, banks now that have different buckets for different savings goals. So we could put our high income ETFs into a separate part of, like, as a separate account in our Robinhood now, and then have like our quote unquote real portfolio with our our S&P 500 and the safe parts, and put that into a totally different account. That way we're not tempted to take that money out as much because we're just not looking at it all the time. And they also said you could have a mix of margin and cash accounts. So you can do like the stock lending program still and earn money from that. So I think I'll do that in the future when my margin is not so insane, because right now I need all of my equity together. That way I don't get margin called. But in the future, when I'm not using that much margin, it would actually be much safer to have like the same part of my portfolio in a separate account and then just have my whatever I'm using margin for, margin and options in a separate account. So basically just have that $25,000, $25 to $30,000 in basically the very active margin account, and then everything else go in a cash account so that I could earn money on the stocks and stuff. So I think having multiple accounts makes, like, multiple individual accounts and multiple IRA accounts that are, it's basically just a logical separator that Robinhood is allowing us to have, I think is really cool. And I'm looking forward to that feature being available to us. Then they have extended hours for index options, which I think is going to be good. I really think that a lot of people don't do trading, like doing options trading with the SPY and everything, because you do have to do it during business hours. And a lot of people work during the day, so it's not conducive to trading. But if they have extended hours and you can do it after dinner and you can set your trade and then you can check back in the next day to, and you have more flexibility of when to close it, I think that would be a good thing to do. I'll just have to understand it more before I jump into trying a new thing. And then they have shorting on Robinhood now, or at least they will, coming soon. And this is interesting. I will have to learn how to do that because I'm not really a fan of buying the calls and stuff. So I think you can lose a lot of money shorting stocks because the stock market naturally wants to rise over time, but short-term shorting could be very profitable. So I think that's something that we should keep um, an eye out for. And then they had a whole thing where they have an indicator developer environment, which is just an AI assistant. You tell it in plain English what type of indicator you want, and then it makes that custom indicator for you. And so I am unsure how much I will use that. I'll probably use it a few times when it first comes out just to see what it's doing, but I'm not really a day trader. I'm more of a buy into high income ETFs and just get income person. So we got that going for us, but I do think we should look into it just to see what it's capable of and to see how useful it is actually for people. Then they did a huge thing with Robinhood Social, and my initial reaction was, no, I don't need to do that. But I think what I might wind up doing is when I get on the computer for the day, we go onto the social page and we go through the news and do shorts on this channel. That way I'm doing more content and it's just going through my feed. I think that would be fine. And then you can follow when I do my options training, and the buys that I do is pretty much just going to be like Misty, because Misty. And then I didn't know that they started out as like a social app. I was not paying attention to it back then, but it was really nice for them to have a woman up there, a trader, and it was, I think it could be really cool. I really don't like X as a platform now. I'm just not jiving with it, but I am trying to increase my presence there. So I miss_Roundhill, I believe, on X. So you can follow me there. Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to do the social thing when it comes out for me. From what I could tell, it took out the transfer icon that's in the app right now and just replaced it with the social icon. So now, instead of always accidentally clicking into the transfer, I'll always accidentally be in the social in the social setting, in the social view, which, I mean, I'm already in Robinhood way too much, checking it multiple times a day. So this is not going to help with my addiction to just checking into Robinhood. I am really excited about the whale tracking with Nancy Pelosi. I know that there is a lag between when she makes the trade and when she reports the trade, but it's interesting to me enough to make a note of it. And I really hope that we can, it just seems like something fun to do. And then that was all I took notes of. I think that they did have other things that they wanted us to know about, but I was either late or I don't care about futures online. I don't care about futures because I don't trade with them. I never took the time to learn how to do futures. I'm pretty sure that it's profitable. I just did not, I have not yet gone through and figured out where that fits in my portfolio now, which nothing fits in my portfolio now because I am just in survival mode. So, but I am cautiously optimistic of the social network. And I think the ones that are in the audience will get their, like, a head start on their audience, but I will let you know as soon as I have access to the social. And I'm pretty sure I do have my Robinhood invitation code in the description down below, so maybe we could do that together. I'm not sure. Anyways, last year for the Hood Summit, I remember I was in my truck because Walgreens took like 7 hours to give me my flu shot because I don't have prescription medications, so I was not in their system, and they refused to use my medical card to have that cover my flu vaccine, even though it's covered by my medical insurance. They were like, no, it's your pharmacy. And I didn't have my pharmacy information because I don't take medicine. I don't have prescription drugs, so it's not in my wallet. So it took a really long time. I was very persistent, but eventually they did give me my flu shot for free, which is nice. So this time I was a little more comfortable. We did have that mishap with the AI, but I would have not, I would have pushed off the interview if I had known that Robinhood Summit was going on at the same time. But speaking of announcements of things that are happening, being developed in the future, I'm not going to show you things that have been developed because they haven't been developed yet, but we're finally going to get the feature where we can sort by highest distribution rate versus now it is by declaration date. The reason for that is I'm currently putting together a sales proposal and a media kit, and we're going to get advertising on YieldMight, or at least I'm pretty sure we'll get it on YieldMight. And then with that, we'll get a login and an option to pay to not see advertising on the website. So we can sort by the declaration date, and we can sort by the highest distribution, and the default will be by featured. And the featured will be kind of like with NerdWallet and any of those kind of websites where they get paid to feature different products. So I'm going to propose that these issuers pay to have their funds at the top of YieldMight. So I need to develop it, and we'll see what it looks like in the end, but it'll probably just be another drop down here that it defaults to featured, and then you can change it to be by weeklies, not by week, but just like by the weeklies, and then by highest distribution rate. And so eventually we could do it by ex-div date, and we can also do it by I've started to pay attention to when the payday is, and so that will follow that. And so today I'm mostly going to work on that sales proposal, and I have not looked at that bug yet, which is probably something that I should prioritize. Basically, if you look here, they were talking about PLTY. So I'm actually going to write it down now. It was $9.61. And then we have $2.40 per week and $10.41 per month, which makes sense because a month is actually 4.3 on average. So, and then we have 124 and 94 cents. And so if you go into the table section, and I did test this before I deployed this, but where did you go, PLTY? There we go. Okay. So, see, that's what's going on. So this should not be weekly $99.61. So this is broken. So for the groups, I will fix that today. So, oh, I think it's actually just everything that's not a weekly. Okay. So that's probably just a simple logic thing, but I will fix that today. So we're going to get pretty soon here logins, and a subscription is probably just going to be like $1 to turn off advertisement, and then we'll have a higher tier that has things like favorites. And so then you can favorite, it'll be stored in a database, and when you come back on, you can choose just to view your favorites. And so I think things like that, where it's not the things that are above the basic free to everybody stuff. And then I'll have the plan be more expensive. That way we can always run specials on my channel to have it on a discount. And then start an affiliate program so that other YouTubers can start talking about YieldMight, and then they can also get some money for recommending YieldMight. So that is the plan with YieldMight. We're going to add a login. If you've bought me a coffee, I will give you a code to not have advertisement because you've supported me early. And so it's just going to be little changes. We're just going to do, I'm going to advertise, or I'm going to put in the sales proposal that they could put a cheaper ad here. So it's between like the top part and this part, and then just something over on the right hand side. So I might get rid of the buy me a coffee and the sandwich, and this is where the login information will be, and I'll have a better like how to use this website and stuff. So we'll see how this develops. And yeah, I just wanted to give you a sneak peek and early access to what I am thinking to do with YieldMight. And then I do have a question for you, because when I have in the media kit, which is basically, for those that don't know what a media kit is, because I barely know what a media kit is, it's basically a public facing document that I put on my website that people interested in working with me and doing advertisements, they can see what like this brand is about, why we're doing this website. And a part of that is who is my audience and why do they come to this website. So my question for you is, when you're going to YieldMight, why do you come to YieldMight? Because you're my audience, so you're aware of high income ETFs. Do you usually do this to check what your dividends will be or distributions? Do you check it when you are looking to buy into a new fund? Just let me know how you use YieldMight, and I would really appreciate that feedback. Update, it's fixed. So if you go down here now, the weeklies still look the same, because for basically Ulti, if you had $1.63 in your latest distribution, it's the same as the week because it pays every week. But if you look at twice a month, then $3.45 divided by 2 is $1.72, and then that's $6.90 monthly, so multiplied by 2. And then every 4 weeks, the month is slightly higher than this. The weekly is about a quarter of it. So this is now working for all of it. It really was a simple change. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get around to actually looking at it, but now it's fixed. So thank you all for your patience with this. And now this is even more useful. So I also forgot to say thank you so much to those that have decided to make your bad financial decisions together with me. Padraic Spalding, BGP Automotive, in my opinion, Abdullah, Jeddah, and Omega Werewolf X. You all are amazing, and I really do appreciate you. And then today in Financial Philharmonics, I really like this song. It's No, I'm Broke, and it's a dreamy pop song, and it's just about practicing saying no to things so that you can pay off your loans and not feel societal pressure to spend things frivolously. So I hope that you check that out and that you like it as much as I do. And then I was really impressed with Don't Be Brave when we took out the background, what it looked like. So I made a Don't Be Brave mug, and on the back we have hedge. So that's what we have. It's a black mug. I think it's cute. So it's $18 because that's just the profit that they suggested. So we also have it big on a t-shirt, and on the back you have hedge. And then I did a hat where it's Don't Be Brave, and then on the bottom of the brim it has hedge. So that is the latest foray into having merchandise on this website. And so I just thought that it looked really cool and it would be a really good coffee mug in black. So, yeah. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye. No!